We are living in an age saturated with struggle narratives, from culture wars to climate activism. They fight different enemies, but they all run the exact same underlying algorithm, a 19th century source code. This is the story of how one grieving man gave modernity its dominant mental operating system. The previous system was version 1.0, the natural law operating system. It was based on physics, economics, and politics, suggesting the cosmos is governed by rational principles, and oppression was an aberration to be corrected, not the defining rule of existence. The catalyst for the new system was code written in grief. In 1850s Soho, Karl Marx watched 3 of his young children die. He willed his theory into existence to survive his own pain. He imposed a cosmic narrative of structural oppression onto history to give his private tragedy a purpose. The system was compiled in 2 stages: the Communist Manifesto, a prophetic declaration that flattened all of human history into a drama of oppressor versus oppressed, and Das Kapital, a rigorous retrofit of economic facts to prove the inevitability of the prophecy. The core source code is the 5-step struggle grammar. It begins with hidden domination, moves to accumulating crisis, then awakening of the oppressed class. This leads to organized resistance, culminating in promised emancipation, the violent overthrow of the old order. The system has a fatal bug: error 404, peace not found. While Marx offered the slogan, "From each according to his ability, to each according to his needs," there were no blueprints for governance or conflict resolution mechanisms beyond the struggle. The machine is built entirely for the overthrow. It has no vocabulary for equilibrium. Struggle.Is version 1.0 exhibits cross-platform portability. Because the struggle grammar was so emotionally irresistible, giving cosmic purpose to suffering, it became the default lens for the modern world. It's seamlessly ported to domains that actively reject Marxist economics, such as religion, science, and activism. In the port to religion, the evangelical culture wars follow the struggle grammar. The oppressor is the secular elite. The irony is that the movement casts itself as a persecuted minority, even while wielding hegemonic cultural and political power. Specifics of the peaceful afterlife, a concrete after, were banned in favor of abstraction. A tangible future of peace would destroy the urgency of the present struggle. The divine must be kept abstract to keep the faithful mobilized for the present war. Porting to science defines knowledge gatekeepers, or the bourgeoisie, as those protecting institutional authority through peer review. Dissident researchers, the proletariat, are suppressed. The revolution is the quote-quote paradigm shift, where the old guard must be overthrown for truth to prevail. The scientific after, like the promise of singularity or transhumanism, fades to mist. The narrative lacks answers because the machine doesn't know what to do without a crisis to fight, leaving the vague summit and missing texture of the post-scarcity future undefined. Executing the code leads to a power vacuum, critical failure, post-revolution parameters null. Because the grammar provided no vocabulary for peace, leaders filled the vacuum with control, coercion, and totalitarian bureaucracy. Autocracy was initiated. This results in the infinite deferral. Leaders like Khrushchev and Mao Zedong were forced to invent new internal enemies to justify their ongoing control, and demanded permanent revolution. The promised end becomes an eternal excuse for tyranny. The mathematics of the machine reveal a directed cycle: oppression to crisis, to awakening, to resistance, to temporary victory, and back to new oppression. The mathematical simulation proves the attractor of the OS is never zero antagonism. A stable peace state breaks the equations. The struggle OS is a perpetual motion processor fueled by human antagonism. It was never built for the summit, but to keep us climbing forever. The final question is, how much of your own worldview is still running on Karl Marx's 19th century code?